Oh my God, what have we got today? Well, it's thankfully from Fair Deal Music in England that I have this amp. I had my colleagues, well, they're not colleagues really, but they're associates or friends, call them what you will, call me up and say, hey Tony, we've got one of these, a limited edition head that they only ever made 50 pieces of. Yes, 50 pieces. And it's a tiny little 5-watt amp. But of course, as you might guess, when you put it on a real cab, like some of these behind me, 5 watts is actually pretty loud. So don't hold it against it. This one's called the Roulette Head. Yeah, have a gamble on it type of thing. Yeah, throw some dice. Well, it actually relates to the colours, of course. And a lot of guys might have seen one of these amps around. They were released in about 2015, so they're going back a little way. But this one's just, well, it's as brand new. I don't know where Fair Deal Music's had it from. And you know what? I don't care either. But it's come in its box. It all looks pretty brand new, except for the date. And yeah, it's probably never been played. Who knows? I don't know. And for that matter, I don't care. Do you? And by the way, for all you American types, you ought to know that this was limited to 50 pieces in the UK. So if you do want to see an amp that's a little bit different, well, a bit, you should have a watch of this video, and because we're going to have a look inside, the outside, and we're going to play a bit, and that sort of thing. It should all be good, and it's probably in keeping with the sort of videos that I generally make. So why not whiz down there, subscribe, thumbs up, do all that rubbish, hit the button and choose the all option, and then you'll get notified when I do some more. And I do have an amp coming up that is going to be launched presently, well, in 2022, let's put it that way around. And yeah, it's over there, but I can't show it to you now. But not to worry, this wasn't the one I was talking about on my channel before. This is just a filler, so to speak. And I've got some more gear coming up too. Now, if you're looking at this head, they did actually sell at the time a matching speaker cab, a roulette cab. I've never seen one of them. In fact, I've never actually touched one of these before. It all looks brand new to me, but it's another story. Not to worry, I don't have the cab, but you'll be hearing it through something like a 4x12 or something like that later on in the video. But for now, what I want to do is to, as always, whip this out to the chassis and have a quick look around it. See what you think. Oh, and by the way, guys, I've never seen this amp inside ever. I've never opened this one before. So you just sum up yourselves what I find in this amp that costs just a few £100 compared to an amp that I recently reviewed costing £1,500 that was all bodged together inside. Anyway, have a look at this one and see what you think. Okay, well, that didn't take long to whip the chassis out. So what I'm going to do is bring the camera over a little bit nearer so you can have a good look at what's going on. It all looks nice and interesting to me. I've never seen a 5-watt amp inside before, strangely enough. Not one of these. So I'm surprised. But there you go. Let's have a look together. You've probably never seen one either. Let's have a look at that Marshall quality. Well, here we are around the front. Well, sort of. The front and above. What you can see very clearly is an input transformer right here, an output transformer right there, and we've got basically 3 tubes. We've got 1 times EL84. Remember, this is what's called a Class A amplifier, and we'll talk more about that later. This one happens to be a JJ. Well, no surprise there, they rule the world, don't they, these days? And we've got 2 12AX7s, or ECC83s as they're often called, and those are also JJ. Now, there's not really much else to look at on the top, except maybe the sticker that was put on there when it was made, and you can see that on the screen right now. That's an interesting little sticker. It says it's 230 volts, it's got a work order, it's got ROS compliance. Importantly, you've got an M-2015, and the M means that this amp was made for the UK. And the 2015 relates to the year it was made. So there. Anyway, we've got better things to do. Let's go and have a look underneath. Well, here we are with a sort of quick look at the inside of the 5-watt amp. Yeah. Okay, well here we are. This is the voltage input at the back. So we've got the transformer over there, the power tube transformer. All comes in down here. The input to the amp, by the way, is this side. It's down there. I'll probably get a closer shot in a little while. I'm just showing you an overview for right now. Oh look, we've got a big fat resistor, which is a 15 ohm resistor, but a big fat one, it says there. Oh, interesting. Also, I don't see anything burned out on this one, which is an interesting subject within itself, but there you go. I don't know how much these are or were when they were brand new, but perfect build from what I see. They do have a few things on the sort of more bottom end amps that are noticeable, such as open ends, either end of the chassis. That's a common trait for Marshall on the lot cheaper stuff. But the rest of it, well, it doesn't look to me like it's got any real corners cut. I can see Julia tested it. I can see it's been put together with some care. And what is there to not like? Let's see if I can get in a bit closer at this this main board. Well, there's a bit of a closer look, like I said, and there's the input side. And of course we'll have the preamp as it goes that way. I don't really see much about the tubes at this point, but we'll be looking for them in a moment. Actually, they're on another little board up the top. So what you're looking at here is the main power board and control board. But as far as the tubes go, we'll look at them when I turn the amp around in a moment. You can see there's nothing out of the ordinary with this. There's some very nice connections and stuff like that. Nothing's been wasted. It's got a few fuses down there. I can see at least 2 from where I'm sitting. And you'll notice that anywhere where it's got big fat resistors, that they are very much lifted off the board. See if you can see that there. That one's about 1 inch off the board. Contrary to a lot of amps that I see, where these are mounted flush on the board, and of course these things do get hot. The ones that you generally see fixed on the board are the 5-watt ones, and yeah, they get really hot, so they hot the board up and do that sort of problem. In the case of Marshall, I've always seen these lifted off the board, and that's a good thing. You know, you get none of this, well, really bad design from fitting these flush on a board when you already know that they cook. It's that basic, really. Capacitors, by the way, the same brand I've seen in quite a lot of Marshalls of recent times. The Samoa, I think that's how they pronounce, but it might be different than that. But you'll see a picture on the screen right now of the brand, and I haven't seen any fail, so not a lot I can say about them, really, except that there they are, on the board, all nice and dandy. This board, by the way, does actually look like a sort of single-sided board. So if you needed to do a lot of work on it, you'd need to pull the board out. But what I would say about that, it'd probably take you 5 minutes, because all the connections are on these very nice connectors. Just snap off. Well, not literally. Well, looking around this side, you can see very clearly down there, you've got that board that's got the tubes on it, or valves, as some people say. They're connected with these wires, so they are what they are. And the mountings do actually sort of mount onto the board, but you can see that from the picture I've just put on there. It's pretty interesting to see. It's not so different than most other of the lower end of types of machines out there. Or maybe I should be saying amplifiers. You've also got another board that you can just about see there, which is like an I/O board for the back. So again, you've got everything on the I/O board, and if you had a major I/O board problem, well, I guess you could well, fit a new one. You've got one board, you've got a second board, and you've got the third main board. And the bass, middle and treble are actually on the top of that main board, soldered on. And they're them little thin fiddly types. We're going to turn it round and I'll let you have a look at that now. Okay, well, they're not the easiest thing to be able to show you, but there they are. I'll probably have a picture or two also on the screen. They're the little Marshall type that mount on the board. You've seen them before, and so have I. I'm not particularly a fan of these, but I guess it's all about making things down to a price, and that's what I guess them are. I've never seen any fail, have you? Who knows? Who knows the answer to that? Anyway, there it is. That's really the board. And the last thing I do want to show you is it's actually printed on the PCB that this board has been made in England. It hasn't been made the other side of the world. It's there, right there, black and white, made in England. What more can I say? Very different than a lot of people that make amps out there that claim made in wherever, but in reality often they're not. So here's a quick look around the back. There's really not that much to see on these, being what they are. You know, 5-watt amplifiers don't have millions of parts. It's that simple, really. They're the tubes we were talking about, the ECC 83s or 12AX7. And there's the EL84 in all its glory. Or is it glory? I don't know. But there it is. And they're all held in place with these nice grommets, these rubber grommets, and this little plate. Very nice. Nice and simple. Down the back you've got this 8 ohm or 16 ohm out. And importantly, you can see that serial number again, MUK 2015, is when it was originally made. I'm not sure of all the other ones, but I do explain them on my website. If you go to www.tonymackenzie.com, you will find a complete explanation of that. This is the model number of this chassis, C5H. It's a head. Yeah, can't say more, can I? We can select headphone out, or these out. You don't have both, you have one or the other. So my guess is that big fat resistor goes to the amp side and you get the headphone out instead. So it puts a load on the amp. Very interesting. Very simple. And really that's what you're paying for. A simple solution. Now moving further along, you've got the proud Marshall Amplification logo. Where it's made in England, it's 5 watts out, RMS into 16 ohms or 8 ohms, and that's that. And as one guy told me many years ago, that is actually Japanese and not actually Chinese. So there. I always thank him for that. Yeah, it's got a fuse in it, and it's 130 volt for that, or 230 volt for this. And we're on the 230 volt model, as you can see here. 230 volts, 50, 60 hertz, 35 watts, fuse in there, mains in there, high pot tested. Nothing else to say about the back. Let's whiz round the front. Now, of course, the first thing you'll notice, you'll be saying to me, where's the standby switch? Well, they don't have a standby switch on these types of amps, this particular class of amp. So it hasn't got one. Anyway, there's the power. We've got a usual LED to tell you when it's turned on and off. It's emblazoned with the Class 5 valve amplifier logo. We've got a bass, a middle and a treble, and a volume and an input further down. There those are. There's not a lot to see, and that's one of the things about the amp itself, really. It's that type of amp. Yeah, if you're a sort of tone hound, yeah, you could do a lot with one of these, and quietly. Yeah, so your parents don't have to tell you off, or so the other band members can go completely over your head, or well, you go figure some answers and put them down in the text below. I find it most interesting. The main box, by the way, it's a very nice looking box, finished really well inside. I'm not going to go into great depths and show you. I might put the odd picture up, but that's about it. You've got a very nice plate underneath, telling you all the standards that it's built to. And it was finished by M. Felton. Yeah, so go and ask him how he manages to do such a great job. I've tried, I can't quite get this good. Anyway, I'm going to put it back in its box and then we'll be back. Okay, well, there you have it, the Class 5. Great little amplifier. It was made down to a price, I'm sure of that. And you can see in some places inside the amp where that's actually been done. But that don't hold it against it, because it's quite a nice little amp. And you know one other thing about Class A amps? Well, they're a tone hounds amp, aren't they? They are designed to give you that sort of tones that you couldn't get any other way easily. Yeah, that's one of the reasons they catch on, I guess. Having huge amounts of gain in them will, well, to be honest, not achieve what the amp's really all about. It's all about Class A, and I have got a video that I did about Class A a number of years ago, and I included a few amps, including a THD univalve, that's Class A. And I think I did another one from, who was it from now? Palmer. Yeah, Palmer Eins. No, not Beans. EINS, I think it was. I think I did one on that. And yeah, if I find it, it'll be down there in the text, and it's definitely worth going and have a look. I do like a lot of things about this amp. In particular, the price I paid for it from Fair Deal Music. So if you're looking for any Marshall product, and not just in particular Marshall products, I've bought all sorts from them, Laney amps and all sorts. They do particularly good deals if you go and give them a call. I'd always recommend you call them, but you might or might not. But if you're in the UK, I think they're a sort of company you should really talk to. None of this, well, like some of the other ones that are out there. I won't start naming them, else I'll get hate mail. But there you go. Fair Deal Music. Details are on the screen right now. And if you have any interest in getting a fair deal, that's why they call themselves that, that's the place to go. Details are down in the text for Fair Deal Music as well. And as for Gary, now one of the things I didn't actually tell you about this is this particular amp model was available in black or red, I'm told. I've never seen a red one. I've only seen the black one with the red around it. Yeah, red and black, you know. Roulette? No, you don't get it, do you? So looking at an amp like this, you've got a few basic controls, and it can be far more versatile than you might think. It hasn't got that super high output like one of these has, or even one of these, Mesa Barbara. No, it's designed to be used, I guess, as much as anything as a practice amp, or as a recording amp, or you can put your headphones in and do that sort of stuff. There's a lot of guys like that. I know a lot of guys like that, yeah, turn the amp up in the house and you'll be leaving soon. Yeah, so this, I'm sure they're out there in other guises. Well, I know they are. But if you want the roulette one, I guess you'll have to have a dig to try and find one. They made 50 only, like I said. I can't really harp on about warranty much, because warranty's been and gone on these. But I do believe that they had a 3-year warranty. Yeah. You know, you get your 1 year and you sign up and you get your extra years. I think they had 3 years, without going into too much depth. They have a different handle, by the way, on this one as well. Very robust. Yeah. Hardly needs to be, because it's actually quite a light amp. Oh, hey, Tony, tell us what you like about it. It's good down here, isn't it? Well, what I like about it is its simplicity. And if ever you've used a Class A amplifier, what of you won't have? But if ever you have, it takes you back to being, well, to the origins of guitar amps, I guess. You could correct me, but I could guess, and it is a guess, that the Class A amp was probably one of the early ones before they managed to get all the rest twisted around into everything you know today. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, you're harping back to the early days and you can get great tones, even out of some of those early amps. And I remember the Bogner amp just sitting over there, Bogner Brixton. Sort of similar, except it's got 2 tubes. Yeah. Thing about that is that's got no tone stack, or very little tone stack. And this one's got a tone stack, but there's very little else, is there? So it's going to be a tone machine. Yeah. If you play blues, or if you play even jazz, I guess. I don't know. I don't know about jazz. I'm not a jazzer. But there you have it. It's like offering you something almost everything else in this place doesn't. That's one of the reasons I bought it. Plus the fact it was a great price from, my friends at Fair Deal Music. So how would I rate this? Well, bearing in mind, it's not actually brand new, although it could be. I don't know the story behind it. I'd give it a 10 out of 10 on this amp. I haven't found anything particularly that I dislike. There's nothing bad about the build on it, and there's nothing bad about the design. It does exactly what it says on the tin. And for the sort of 200 odd pounds, or $249 or $50 that I paid for it, well, it's hard to find something that's not to like. Now, I don't know the entire history of this particular amp. It might have sat in somebody's, storeroom for years. I don't know the answers. Not that it really matters. This one is absolutely as new. And I'll call it that. I will say it's probably an ex-demo or something like that. But if you see one of these in America, you'll be very lucky, because they only made 50, and I think they were all just for the UK. But you might see one somewhere. Who knows? And if you get a chance to buy one and it's in the UK, I think the shipping won't be that bad on this one. Yeah, it's not a bad device at all, if you want the truth. So, 10 out of 10. There's little else you can say about it. It does everything that it says on the tin. So that's it on this one. There's not, like I say, there's not a huge amount of things to talk about. You've had a quick look inside. It's as good a quality as anything I've seen for this sort of money, ever. And it's as good a quality as I've seen for some £1,500 amps, which is another story. So, what's not to like? Well, you might be some metal god. It's no use for metal. You might be some heavy rock god. It's not really a heavy rock amp. I guess you could put a drive in front of it and do that sort of stuff. But it's not really for that. Thing is about it, you're going to hear it. I don't know what I'm going to play out of it. It won't be metal, that's for sure. Well, I could drive it, but that's not the objective. So, anyway, it's coming up now. Have a listen at it. Yeah, I like it. It's a great little product for the money. And what Marshall said at the time, one of the things that sticks in my mind is they said, this will become a collector's item. Well, it might or might not. It doesn't seem very collectors to me, but I don't usually use these sort of amps, so how can I say? Well, I can't. But that's a review of it in a way that nobody else has ever bothered to show you, and here's the playing. So until next time, get out of here. Boom!